Hi folks, it's Carrie with Otter Creek Homestead. This is my helper back there.
She's talking about me.
I'm talking about him. We are out. He is watering stuff. We are out in the garden this morning trying to get some things wrapped up before it rains today. So if it gets a little windy, you'll know why. There's some rain moving in, which I'm glad to have. We've been dry for a few days and it's been pretty warm, so we're supposed to get a little cold front and some good rain today. We have let me flip you around so you can see. These 3 beds here. We've got them planted. We've got onions in this one. Some onions that I started from seed, which I didn't end up with very many. You can see them. They're the ones with the thinner green on them. Hey buddy, you're supposed to water the last bed that has beets in it. And then there's the sugar snap peas coming up there. I want to, here's the plan for this morning. I want to get some compost on these. Actually, some leaves to mulch these onions. He likes to keep busy, and one day last fall, he raked up and bagged up a couple bags of leaves. So we're going to put those on the onions, and hopefully we'll have enough to put on the other bed here too. So this bed has been cleaned up. It's lettuce and kale and green beans. We've got some green beans planted to grow up the trellises. I cleaned it up a day or two ago. We might touch it up a little bit and then try and get some leaves on it. And then our last bed here is a mess. But it's also like, I'm so happy about this bed, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so these obviously are all of our beets, and it needs cleaned up bad. So we're gonna get in here and do that. But I was out here the other day, just like looking at what I had to do and kind of working on it. And there's a ton of dill, volunteer dill. I had dill, basil, and a few other things planted in here last year. So there's lots of dill popping up everywhere. So we're going to try and pull that up and repot it to see if anybody wants some dill. There's no point in, not saving it, letting it go to waste. So we're going to do that. And I drive myself crazy sometimes. I went to the nursery and bought dill because I wanted dill, and I didn't know I had dill coming up in these beds, or in this bed. So I spent $4 on something that I didn't need to spend because I already had dill. So we're going to pull some of that out for ourselves and then give some away. Maybe take some to the farmer's market because we got some other things to take to the farmer's market. So we'll see. Anyway, this is a whole other project right here alongside the greenhouse. We're going to plant some herbs and that rhubarb over there you see in that pot. But anyway, also in this bed, which is a total gift, I have some volunteer basil. Here's one. I just saw this little one down here. Where's he at? Can y'all see him? Yep, there he is. And then there's one over there. And I got another one, a couple of them popping up over here. Oh my goodness, one right here. Which oh my gosh, and one right here. Look, I'm seeing them all. Can y'all see that one? Where's he at? Where are you at, Basil? There he is right there. So I'm really excited about that because I tried to anyway, start basil from seed this year. I like this, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to butcher it, I'm sure, but I call it Genovese. It's Genovese. It has a nice broad leaf on it, and it grows into a nice good sized little bush, which is great for pesto. So that's what I like to grow it for. And clearly I let some go to seed last year because boom, we have basil growing. But anyway, I had some seed and none of it germinated. Not a single seed germinated, which was so disappointing. Not only did my seeds not germinate, but the nursery that I have bought it from in the past as a seedling didn't carry it. They didn't have any this year. So I thought I was out of luck, but I'm not. So yay. So that's our plan. We're going to do that, get started on these beds. I'm going to try and set you up so you can watch us, and we'll get these herbs out and get them repotted and get them cleaned up and mulched, and hopefully get some tomatoes in the ground too before it starts raining. There's so many. Oh my goodness, so many. I might leave a few just to let them grow up and get mature right here. Since they're started here. Probably do well here. It's hard to weed beets and not pull up beets. That's really hard. These are like a labor of love, I tell ya. There's a good one right there. He's pretty good size. See how big he is? Good little root system too. Okay. Over there. Oh, there's a good sized basil too. I'm trying to move him. I hope these save okay. So we've ended up with 12 basil, 6 dill. They all look a little bit wilted. I just gave them a good watering, so hopefully they snap out of it. I think I'm going to put them up against the greenhouse. Just set that tray over there, the whole tray. And that way they'll have a little protection from the wind. Okay, I think I've got it as good as it's going to get. I did find a few basil and dill that I left, so we'll see if they hang in there and mature. I thought that'd probably be best if I save a few in here, just in case everything I pulled out dies on me. I'd be sad if that happened. It's not perfect. There's still a few weeds in there, but I'm disturbing the soil so much. See my pile here of junk? I'm disturbing the soil so much, several of my beets are leaning over. I try to prop them up, but they're just not the best at, being repositioned or whatever, because they just get so flimsy once the roots have loosened. So anyhow, we'll see what they look like after a rain. I'm hoping a rain comes in and can settle the dirt around them a little more, and maybe they'll be standing up a little better. So it's about lunchtime now. We're going to go have lunch. I don't know if we'll get back out here and work on tomatoes before the rain or not. We've got 2 rows here ready to go for tomatoes. We've got a couple tomatillo planted at the end there. And then we always trench in our tomatoes, which means you lay them down, and so that way as much of the stem is in the ground as possible, so you have a stronger root system. And we put in some Epsom salt and some crushed eggshell to help them along. So anyway, we're going to break for lunch and see what we can do next. Also, while I was out here, I got myself a nice manicure. Boom. Yeah. Thank goodness for nail brushes, because seriously, you get a lot of dirt in there. I don't love wearing gloves in the garden. I feel like they get in the way. I feel like my fingers work better when they're naked. Which sounds weird, but it's true. We're back. It's been a couple days since we worked on those beds. I'll show you what they look like. At the end of that day, well, before the rain came anyhow, we were able to get some tomatoes in the ground. We planted 9 Amish paste tomatoes that we had started from seed ourselves. Unfortunately, we lost 2 of them already, so we need to replant those. But I'll give you a look at what we did get accomplished and how things are looking now. And we're about to get another rainstorm, so yay for that. So here's the onion bed that my best little helper put leaves on. He did a great job. He really did a good job. And they all are coming through pretty nice. We may have 1 or 2 that are a little, questionable. They're probably dead. But most everything is standing up pretty good. And I did a rough count. I think there's like 70-ish onions in here. I had gone to the nursery and I wanted a bundle of transplants. And this is the funniest thing. I had complimented the guy on his mustache. It looked really cool. He's growing like this handlebar mustache. And he's never had facial hair before, because I've known him for years upon years. And so I complimented him on his mustache. It looks pretty cool. I was being genuine too. And he was like, I'll just give you 2 for 1 on these onions. I'm like, heck yeah. I'm just going to throw out all the compliments. But anyhow, so we have this bed full of onion, and then we have a whole row full of onion out in the garden. Here's our garden. And it's not looking very green yet, but it will, I promise. Well, I can't make that promise. Hopefully Mother Nature will stand behind that promise with me. The most green you see in it right now is weeds amongst the flowers. But anywho, this bed looks really good. He did a super job. These are the seedlings that we have left. Some of these are going to my mom. We actually just picked up, we have some space to fill in our garden. So I just picked up Brussels sprouts, a few cauliflower, and a few cabbage. And red onion too. We're going to try that. We'll just throw some over there. And we might do 1 row of carrots too. So we just have like about 1/3 of the garden yet to fill. So we want to do that. We're going to plant a few more of these tomatoes, some beefsteak, and some red cherry. And then there is some spaghetti squash we need to plant. We have like a lower garden where we plant big viney things like pumpkins and stuff. But not everything. That's not entirely true. We have a few things up here that are viney. But we have some watermelon that my little man wanted to plant, and spaghetti squash. We're going to move down there eventually. Some of that is for my mom too. This doesn't look much different. We decided not to put mulch on this one because it's already cleaned up really nice. And these are going to be coming out here soon anyway. Lettuce doesn't last that long. You can see the arugula is already starting to bolt. See that right there. So that means it's going to throw up a blossom and go to seed. So that's not going to last much longer. Our little lettuces might last a little bit longer because they're still small. But we have eaten a few little salads, and we've put in greens on some sandwiches and wraps. So we're getting some use out of it, which I'm happy about. So no mulch on this one because this is all going to come out soon, and we're going to replant it. But the green beans are looking pretty good on the ends. Hopefully they'll start climbing the trellis soon. And then here's the beets. We ran out of leaves, so he got about halfway with mulching. But I did get it mostly weeded. There's still some weeds in there, and beets are tough to weed. until they're a little bit bigger because they're just so flimsy on their base that they pop out of the ground pretty easily. I did leave a few dill, and I think I saw 1 or 2 basil in here just in case my seedlings don't work out. The ones I had pulled, here's what they look like. They need a drink. See, I'm not sure those dill are going to survive. We might save 2 of them might make it. Goodness, they need water though, don't they? The basil all look great though. They all stood up really nice. They look good. I'd love it if we could get those in the ground soon. But I'll take you a walk around the garden real quick and show you what we have since we're out here. In these 2 cages, we planted 2 tomatillos. And then the rest of this row, you can't hardly see them because they're still pretty small. They're Amish paste. And we lost 2. We may have lost a 3rd one. Goodness gracious. But those were ones we started from seed, so we have more of those we can easily replace them with. And then the beefsteak and the cherry tomatoes we're going to plant in another row right here, so this is empty currently. These 2 rows are peppers. The first 2 plants that you see, the first 1 plant in each row, the first plant in each row is eggplant. Those are the only 2 eggplants that survived when I started them. So those are Black Beauty eggplant. Everything else is peppers. We've got California Wonder bell pepper. We have shishito, jalapeno, and banana pepper. So hopefully we get some good peppers out of there. And then these 2 rows are green beans. And I have not seen a green bean sprout up yet. Not a single one. Oh. I say that as I see a single one. There is 1 bean popping up. So come on, beans. Do us good. Here's one that's he's showing a little bit, so I'm just going to crumble some dirt over him. Oh, and let me tell you about this bean seed. It was, we like Roma 2 beans. They're a bush bean, and they're like a wide, flat, Italian bean. We like the way they taste. So that's what we usually plant, and I usually get them from the same nursery that I get my Genovese basil at. Well, I go to get some seed. This was leftover seed, not leftover. This is actually seed we saved last year, which is really funny because this is why people save seed. I never thought this would actually happen. But I go to get the seed and they're like, we don't have any. We have no Roma 2 bean because there was a total crop failure from their supplier. They have nothing. And so I go and look online, and all the places I checked online, it was out of stock. I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, we have like, I don't know how many. We might have had 100 seed that I had saved from last year. So we planted those. So hopefully they come up and we get some beans out of it. I thought maybe we'll can 1 row of these and then save the other row for seed again in case we can't get it. I mean, I'm like, dang, that is why people save seed. So you don't have to depend on other people for it. I never thought that would happen, but that is exactly why you do it. And then this is the row of onion. And they're, can you see them? They're standing up pretty good. They look decent. Most of them do. There'll be a few losses, but a lot of them are standing up good. This trellis, we planted these bigger cucumber plants. That is, those are straight 8s, so those are slicers. And then we also planted some dipper gourds. They had a low germination rate. We only had 3 of them germinate. There's 1 here and 2 over here. I was kind of hesitating to hoe in between them, hoping that another seed or 2 would pop up, but I don't think that's going to happen, so we'll probably go ahead and hoe them. And then we planted 2, you can see them right here, 2 little rows of radish. I like French breakfast. That's what we always plant. In the middle here, these 2 little hills, we have cantaloupe, and then at that other trellis, we have pickling cucumber. And then this big chunk of the garden, everything you see here that's dirt, this is not planted. So this is where we want to put the Brussels sprouts and the cabbage, the cauliflower, a row of carrots, and what else did I say? Was that it? I don't know, that might be it. But these 2 rows here are flowers. I can't have a garden and not have flowers in it, and by goodness, if something is not eating them. So over here, these taller ones, these are sunflowers, and these here, which look mostly like weeds, those are zinnias. So hopefully we need to get in here with the tiller and till this up. It's not looking so hot, is it? We came through and hoed in between the flowers. My little guy hoed the sunflowers. He did a great job. You can see them really well. I couldn't get in here as much with the zinnias because I was going to pull too many out. I was going to hit too many with the hoe. So I just tried to pick out the bigger weeds and hope that they could, you know, overcome. So we'll see. Anyway, that's a good look at the garden. We've got these two. We're really having a thistle problem this year. All these green things popping up right here are thistle. I don't know how to get rid of it because the roots go so deep. And from what I've heard, like the root can go deep and go, you know, like a long ways, and more plants can sprout up off of that root. So when you pull a plant up, you don't even get root off of it. You're just breaking it off of this big long root. It's a real pain. We're just having a real problem with thistle, especially in this back half of the garden. It's been a real pain. And that one box over there, can you see that? The boxes on each side of that trellis, they had carrots in them. The one on the left is doing great, and I was able to weed it easily. The one on the right is overrun with thistles so bad. So we got to get. We actually might just dump that out and totally redo that bed, or redo that little box because it looks terrible. Anyhow, that's our update. The garden is coming along. It'll be more green in another month or so, and let's bring you back out here and have another look at it. See what else has died and how bad the weeds are then. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this look at our garden. If you haven't subscribed, we hope you do. We'd love to see you again. Take care. Be well. Bye now.